This thing is just, this string of hair is like annoying me. Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm gonna talk about annoying people. Don't deny it. We all know someone. When I said it, the first thing in your mind was a person that annoyed you at some point in your life. I hope you have fun, guys. And don't forget, at the end of the video, to subscribe, leave a comment. Please leave a comment on what you want to see next time, because I'm out of ideas. And I hope you enjoy. Bye. Why I wanted to talk about this today is because I wanted to share a little bit of a story that I have been through and a person that I had to work with for 2 years that I just didn't see eye to eye, to say the least. So yeah, let's get into the story. So I started working with her for 2 years. We started at the same time, and in the beginning it was actually fine. We were getting along work-wise, but at some point little things started to annoy me about her work ethics. Just like, you don't have to be friends with her, just be able to work with her. And so I did for the first couple of months. But at some point, obviously that's gonna happen when you don't work it out stuff. It's gonna build up until a point where you cannot just ignore it anymore. And that's what happened with me. At some point I was just so annoyed with every little thing that she did that I would go to colleagues and talk about her. Just the fact that I didn't understand why someone would act the way she did. And that gradually turned into just annoyance and just not liking her. And that in the end impacted the way we work together, obviously. I do have to say, at that time in my life was like fucked up. The only thing that was going well was my work. So for that not to go well as well was so hard for me to cope with. So she was an easy way for me to blame it all on her and not deal with the fact that it wasn't working for me at the job either. So at that point, I think maybe a year into me working there, I said to myself, okay, this is not working, you need to do something about it. And so I decided with another coworker to just simply sit down with the three of us and talk about it and see if we could work it out. And so we did. And the first couple of weeks after was actually great. We worked fine together. But after a couple of weeks, I started realizing that she didn't want to adapt those work ethics forever. So she went back to her old doings and her old self. And then at that time, me and my coworker again went down to sit with her, talk about it, and then try to work it out again. And then the next couple of weeks it would be good and great and fun, and then it would go down again. And then over and over again we had these conversations with her sitting there. And of course it wasn't just her, we also had to change things and change our ethics, and we did. But at the point where she would no longer cooperate in the promises we made, like, I would slack off too, because I was like, well, she's not holding her end of the bargain, so why would I do that for her when she's not giving me the same respect back? So that was like a thing that went on for a couple of months, and it was really tiring. And at some point, after a couple of months, I just realized that what I was wanting from her was that she changed. And for me to want that from her, I realize now that that was not really a good thing to do at the time, because you can't change someone else if they don't want to, and she clearly didn't want to. So yeah, then we hit this time of I don't know what to do anymore about it. So that was bad. For me personally also, because my personal life was in the gutters. I just finished up my life coaching sessions and I was trying to figure out life on my own. And with this going on as well, it kind of made me scared and afraid to fall back into depression again. So with that, I now know and I now see that I just was trying to make her fit into the picture I had in mind so that I could rebuild my own life without caring what she wanted. I went through life coaching, and I can say, even though I was 27 and you expect people to deal with their shit, I couldn't. So that sucked, and I had to figure it out on my own, which also sucked. I developed a burnout, so I ended up at home with no energy whatsoever, not feeling great, not wanting to leave my bed. At some point during the trial, the conflict at work wasn't just her anymore. People had conflict with me now, which I didn't see coming, but looking back on it, it's obvious that it happened. It got even worse now. But yeah, so at the time I was very down and I didn't know how to deal with it, and I honestly didn't know what other options I had other than I ignore it, which I tried and I couldn't, or she changed, but that we already tried and that didn't work as well. So I didn't know what else I could do to fix this. So now we're a couple years later. The other day this thing came to my mind and I had to think about this situation in particularly, where I was like, oh my god, there was a third option that I at the time didn't know, but now I'm glad I do know. It is a bit of bittersweet, since I would have loved to know this option at the time so I could deal with it properly and not in the way that I did. Because after those conversations and after the burnout, I decided to quit my job because I didn't see any other options that I could do to fix it or make it better or make it workable. Because I knew that if I stayed there longer, then I would inflict pain not only to myself but also to others. That was just unnecessary. So I decided to leave. So the third option that I didn't see or didn't want to see at the time, I think that's more accurate, is that it could also have been me that needed to change. For me, it was like, okay, she is annoying me, she's not doing her job, so she should do something about it. So at that time, I focused on my annoyance of her and my thinking of I know how things should work out. But if I looked closer, there were other colleagues who also thought it was not fair, but who could work with her nevertheless. They found a way that they could tolerate her behavior, keep their smiles on their faces while they're working, and just keep on doing their job. And even though it sucks, I have to admit it, that I didn't and I couldn't at the time. But it is like we as humans think we're so inferior that if we are annoyed, then it's the other person's fault. But when you think about it, it's actually not. Because they can't help the way they are. They have been like this forever. And it's not our place not only to judge them, but to blame them for being who they are. And I did that. And that's something I'm regretful of, even though at the time I didn't know any better. So in a situation like that, you can either ignore it and work around it either way. The second thing you can do is talk to the person, talk about it in a way that's respectful, but also in a way where you make clear that it's something not you're annoyed with, but keeps you from doing your job properly. Our pride gets in the way from the third option because we think we didn't do anything wrong, so we shouldn't have to change the way we are because of their behavior. But fact is, you're not changing you because of the other person's behavior. But in the end, it's about you growing as a person, how to deal with different situations in life, and yeah, growing. So it has nothing to do with pride. So the third option what you can do is just sit down, relax, see what it is about the other person that's annoying to us, because it can be different things. It can either be that they make us feel insecure for some reason, that you are jealous of a trait they have, or whatever. It can be anything. So that's the first step, is like identifying the issue that you have with the person. And after you have done like identifying the issue, you can ask yourself why. Because most of the times the why has more to do with us than with the other person. Like if we envy them for some trait that they have, like you can be honest with that person. Say, I envy the way you like handle clients in a way that I am not capable right now. And most of all, accept that it's ridiculous to be angry about it to that person. And if you're done with the what and the why, you can move on to the how. How are you gonna deal with it? Like I said, if you're envy of someone's character trait or the way they deal with clients or whatever, if it's a trait you can learn, you can first off accept your flaws. That's the most important thing. Accept your flaws. You're not perfect. No one is. But when you accept your flaw, you can actually work with it, benefit from it, and make yourself a better person by doing so. And it might also help to talk to a friend or a family about it. Talk about that person. Talk about why they are annoying and what is annoying about them. And then talk about how you want to solve it or how you want to see it solved. And if you even don't know how to solve it, then talking to a person, I would say, is the best thing to do, because then it might give you a new perception on life. Where I had to learn it by myself over 3 years later, I might have just found that solution 3 years ago if I had talked to anyone about it. But whatever you do it with a loving mindset. A loving mindset to yourself, to the other person. Don't be a old, grumpy person at age like 20 something. So yeah, be loving, be kind to yourself. Don't get the annoyance to a level where you want to like bash someone's brains in or something. Just like deal with it. It's life. And in the meantime, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay loving to yourself and others. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Pride is like, I always say, pride will be the end of the world.